Good morning, my dear students. How are you today? Our lesson in English for today will be in page 331. In grammar, the title for today will be Comparative and Superlative Adjectives. Before we will start with the explanation, I will just make a revise for you to the idea of adjectives. Before a few weeks, we took adjectives and we said the adjectives describe the noun in the sentence. Remember that all the time, that the adjectives describe, talk about the noun in the sentence. How? In which way? It talk about the noun for the shape, size, color. You remember? For example, for the shape, big, small. For the color, red, yellow. For the number, sometimes the numbers like 1, 2, 3 are adjectives. We said also the articles and a. If you still remember, you can go back for the lesson of adjectives and check again, so you can understand more the lesson for today. I send you also a link for the page for today to understand more by video. Now, the title for today is Comparative and Superlative Adjectives. What do we mean by these two terms, two ideas, comparative and superlative? Let's start to read from here. Adjectives are often used to make comparisons. So the adjectives are used to make what? Comparisons. These comparisons come from word comparative. Comparative, it means to compare. Compare what? Two nouns or two things, two people together, okay? Two only. So again, adjectives are often used to make comparisons, to compare two people, places, or things, okay? So you usually add er to an adjective to make a comparative adjective. But how we will have this comparative adjective? By adding er to this adjective, okay? So after that, now we can make this comparative between two people or places or things. Let's complete and see. To compare three or more people, places, or things, now we are talking about more than two. For two only, we said comparative. Now, what do you think about more than two people, places, and things? Usually add est to an adjective to make superlative adjective. So now we are in superlative adjective. So what do we mean by superlative? To talk about more than two people, places, or things by adding what to the adjective? est. Again, how to make comparative? By comparing two people, places, and things. Okay, two, by adding er to the adjective. But for superlative, you would compare more than two people, places, or things by adding est to the adjective. Now, sometimes you must change the spelling of an adjective when you write the er or est form. What do you think? Some words can be changed if we will add est or er to them? Yes, for sure. Like here, drop final e. If you have e by the end of the adjective, what you are going to do? Because you will add already er. If you are going to add er and you have e also for the adjective by the end, it will be more difficult to put er. It will be double e and it will be difficult to be pronounced, okay? So you will drop and you will put x. You will take this e from the adjective and add the er for comparative. Like here, you have example, fine, finer, finest. Here, fine is the adjective without comparative or superlative. So what did we make? We deleted the e by the end, this e, and we added the er, which is for what? Which is for comparative, comparing two only things or people, places. So also when you are comparing more than two places, people or things, you will drop also, take this E and add est. Now it is superlative. This is comparative, this is superlative. Okay? Now also here we have another change. Change Y to I. Change Y to I. We used to do that before. We drop Y. If we have Y by the end of the adjective, it will be what? I. Then you will add the ER or EST in comparative or superlative. Example, here you have easy. Easy, it has Y by the end. What you are going to do if you are comparing two things? So you will drop, take this Y and put I like here, then ER of comparative. It will be easier. Now what about superlative? The same. You will drop the Y and put I, so then EST. This is now the way of superlative. Easiest. Now, the third case, which is double final consonant. What does that mean? Look at this word, big. It ends with what? Consonant. What comes before this consonant letter? Consonant letter, this is G consonant. We took that from KG till now we are taking this idea. Consonant, it means the letter without any sound. It's not a vowel. Okay, what about the vowels? Are what? 5. What are they? A, E, I, O, U, which has sound. Give us sounds in reading, in saying the words. Now what about this G? It's not a vowel. It doesn't have sound. That's why we call it consonant. But what comes before this consonant G? I. Do you think I is also consonant? Consonant? No. It is a vowel. So we have by the end a consonant before a vowel. What we are going to do? Double final consonant. If you have a consonant by the end of the adjective and before it comes a vowel, so you are going to double the consonant. This is G, it would be double like this. Bigger, I made double G, more G, I added more G, then ER in comparative. Okay, now also here in superlative, also I made double G, then EST in superlative. Do you understand? We have many words like this. You can find, we will see in the page. Now here they put you examples, sentences. Chicago is a bigger city than Baltimore. So look carefully, what are they talking about? From using ER, it is a comparative or superlative adjectives? No, this is comparative. We said comparative to compare two things, two places, two people. So here, where are the people, places, things in the sentence? Sorry. Here we have Chicago. What's Chicago? It's a city in America. And where is the other place, for example? Yes, Baltimore. Baltimore, also another city. So here we are comparing two places, like the grammar said here, the definition. So this is comparative, comparing two places. So after we saw the two places, we checked our sentence. Now the adjective is big. What did we make here? Remember the rule here? We said we make double for the consonant because there is a vowel before it. So it is now bigger. Chicago is a bigger city than Baltimore. So what comes here? What's this than? This than also comes with comparative all the time. If you have comparative adjective with ER, you can check after it if there is than, so you'll know that this is comparative. They are related. To check your answer if it's correct for comparative adjective, just check if there's than after it. If you found than, this means this is comparative, not superlative. How many things we can know that this sentence has comparative adjective? Now we have two places, not the three. ER, because comparative used ER. Now also than. Did you understand? Now let's see the other sentence. New York is the biggest city in the United States. What are they talking about? Also about a city. But what did they say? They say it is the biggest. What did they put? EST. Why they put EST, not ER? Because they are talking about more than one. How more than one? You will tell me New York only. No, they said the biggest city. From what? It means from more than two cities. Maybe in the United States, I remember it has 52 cities. So it means New York is one of these 52. So it means they are talking about more than two cities. So they choose New York to be the biggest from these 52. That's why we are talking about more than two. So they said it is the biggest. No one is biggest like it. So that's why they said superlative. Superlative, it means to talk about the things which are the biggest, the smallest, no one like it. Okay, so that's why they said New York, the biggest city in the United States. And look what comes before biggest. There is the. All the time, remember, before the superlative adjective comes the. Like what did we say here in comparative? After comparative with ER comes than. Okay, remember that. Now, after we finish the rule for this page, we will read the question. The question said, underline the adjective that compares in each sentence. So what does they want? What do they want? Sorry, they want the adjectives that compares. Compares. What does that mean? More than two? No. Two things, two places, two people only. What comes after this adjective? Than. You will check what? If there's two people in the sentence, two places, or two things, then you will find the adjective. What you are going to do, put line under it. For example, in number one, Abuelito goes to the seashore on the sunniest day of the week. So, what do you have here? Superlative or adjective? Superlative adjective, sorry, or comparative? You will put line under the adjective. Okay, so you'll complete reading the page, the 5 questions, then you'll find the adjective. Now in the other part, write C if the underlined adjective is a comparative adjective. Write S if it is a superlative adjective. Why C? Because comparative start with C. Why S? Because superlative start with S. Okay, now 6. Grandpa had a harder childhood than his granddaughter. So what is this adjective? It is with ER. So this is what? Comparative with or superlative. What comes after it? Than. Is there any the before it? They are talking about two people, two things or places only. So you will check and put your answer here. So you'll complete reading the other questions and answer the page. I'm waiting for your answers before one. Wish you all the best. Thank you.